Some of them are well taken care of, but others, and because the abbot's away, it's still the same amount I had when I was taking care of a few old men. Philip? Ah, I didn't know that. When he first came here, he was fine, no wounds on him. He was escorting the others. Then he got worse and worse until he lost consciousness entirely. Ask Johanka. Maybe she'll know more.
Can you now? But to be more precise, do you understand herbs and medicinal plants? In that case, you've come to the right place. Someone who knows what they're doing will have it done in a jiffy. So what am I supposed to do with you? Go to the herb garden, take a good look at what's growing there, and then pull up the weeds in the herbaceous beds. Is that clear? Not so fast. Have I even told you what I consider a weed? It's dandelions, stinging nettles, and thistles. Those plants have their use, but they've no business growing among the euphrasia and the mentha, or anywhere else in that garden for that matter. You see, this is the part where you learn something. Look in the herbarium to find out what a dandelion, stinging nettle, and thistle look like. If you prefer to carve people up with a sword, you'll have to go elsewhere. Once you've cleared the garden of weeds, come back. And woe betide you if you pull up anything but weeds. You don't look the part, but if you say so. I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. Well, never mind. At least you'll learn something new. Did you weed the beds and leave what should be growing there alone? If it's only a couple, there's no harm done. I'm glad to hear it. I'm going to check with my own eyes. Here's the reward. You earned it. It wasn't the best work I've ever seen, but you pulled up more weeds than herbs, so you deserve a reward. You said it was finished, but I took a look at it. Is that what you call a finished job? Glad to hear it. You can't afford to botch this job like you did last time, so pay close attention. Knowledge of herbal remedies always comes in handy. Listen up. We have some new brothers who are meant to help me with the wounded, but not all of them know their medicinal herbs as well as I'd hope. They'll have to be taught. I should imagine not. But you won't be doing any teaching, just helping me put together our new herbarium. I shall need all of the herbs mentioned in the old one. One more thing. Bring me some old book or other. We'll scrape off the old ink to make a palimpsest, and use the blank pages for the herbarium. Don't be so sure. Some of the herbs are shy little things, prone to hiding from sight. When you've collected one of each, come back for your reward. As you wish. If you change your mind, you'll find me here. Let me see if you have everything. I'm most grateful. I'll set someone the task of scraping away the old ink and turning it into a herbarium. Are you trying to waste my time? Come back when you have all the herbs. Excellent, you have all the plants. I'll take those from you. And what of the book? Did you remember to bring it? It gave me no rest all night, but I think I have it.
Really? That sounds rather unlikely. But if Master Johann of St. Paul's says so, who am I to contradict him? I'd be careful with such statements. He's done much harm to the good people here. Don't speak that way. He's your fellow man, and deserves to be treated as such. Only the Lord has the right to punish him. I hope so, but in the short while I've been here, I've found the locals to be rather stubborn.
Study the breviary carefully, and compare the symptoms with the recorded cases. That will guide us. Fortunately for you, our brother librarian is translating these momentous medical works into the common tongue, so you can still be of use. I'll try the proven classics, Avicenna and his Canon Medicinae, and Galen's magnum opus, the Ars Medicinalis. You were there? God be merciful to you and the dead and the wounded. Well, there were accidents, of course. A broken leg, someone who'd been kicked by a cow or bitten by a goat. But this, I've never dealt with the carnage of battle before.
Johanka cares for him too. She's never far from his side, and the moment he so much as groans, she runs straight to him. Well, if you know something about it, then go and take a look. However, you don't look like you've studied the Hippocratic arts. Have you talked to Johanka? The last time I saw him was when I was rubbing ointment on his rash.
Thank you for everything. I'll set someone the task of scraping away the old ink and making the herbarium.
I'm not an expert, but I know a little something. Is it urgent? I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but you can have a look in the herbarium here. There won't be too many purple herbs for bruises and sprains. then talk to her first. Unfortunately not. The brothers in the cloister aren't much interested in the external world, and the custodian has enough on his plate with the chaos in the region. Besides, his main concern is the smooth running of the monastery. I tried him, but it seems he had some disagreement with Johanka, and now he won't give us anything. Then I'll be happy to help. Hands? I know, but there aren't any bandages. There! It's better already. Yes, I'm the infirmarius here. Time was I only had a few elderly monks who couldn't walk to take care of. Now I have this mess to deal with. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound uncaring. I can't say at this point. I need to find out a little more. Merhoyed? Isn't there a stud farm there? And what of the animals? Did they get infected too? That is most intriguing. Sorry. I mean to say it's most unusual. What are we to do about it? Do you know the symptoms? Excellent. I have several extensive volumes here in the library. Describe the epidemic, including the symptoms, and we could take some guidance there. Can you read? My good fellow, we won't get far without that. If I don't know the symptoms, I can hardly fathom what's wrong, can I? Let alone suggest a cure. But hurry, time is of the essence. In the meantime, I'll make ready the ingredients all potions are based around. Someone like Avicenna or Galen, they might know. Very well. But the effect can vary a great deal. If I were to deliver the wrong treatment, it might... My experience? My experience? That won't help us very much at all. I haven't met with an epidemic yet in my whole life. But I can consult with more experienced masters. Excellent. So follow me to the scriptorium. Never mind. But do tell me what they're suffering from, and I'll read up on it myself. That's to be expected. What else? A cough. I see. Anything else? So it could be of digestive origin. Anything else? How peculiar. Next? Most unpleasant. What next? That may be down to the feverishness. What next? Good Lord, this does sound serious. What next? Right. Stay until tomorrow, perhaps I can come up with something. Well, the old master's volumes are bulky. Now what have we here? Yes, that would make sense. Could it be? No, probably not. It was around here somewhere. A peculiar case. Lord, oh Lord, what times we live in. Whatever can it be? Febris e causa ignota. Where did I put that Galen? And where is that Avicenna hiding? I'll wager that Jerome has taken them out again. Where did I put those books? There's truth in the old saying, Monasterium sine libri est sicut civitas sine opibus. A monastery without books is like a town without wealth. It's a complete mystery to me. I'm sure I have them somewhere, right under my nose. We shall have to prepare some medicine at once. Really? I, meanwhile, shall head straight to, where was it again? Oh, yes, Merhoyed. I'll take Johanka with me. She has no equal in caring for the sick. Once you have the medication ready, hurry after me. But enough chatter. Time is of the essence. I'll get to work brewing the potion, and then head straight to Merhoyed with Johanka. I expect we'll meet there? I didn't expect you could. You surprised me quite enough with your reading. And to you, Henry, I speak of the great authors of medical texts, from antiquity, naturally. Try again and do better. That simply isn't good enough. Off you go. I'd better do it myself. Some of the brothers like a good sleep, and sometimes that's the only way to get one. I'll show you how. I'll take care of Melekar and Straw. You go round the rest of the houses. It's a good thing you're here. We need a helping hand. You can take the cure to the villagers and make sure they take the right dose. You mean that wretch they locked up in the barn? I don't know, lad. I doubt he survived, but best ask Melekar. That remains to be seen. We've distributed the potion, but it's still too early to tell how it will turn out. For now, at least we brought hope. Of course not. This is a job for someone who understands the art of physic. Best spend the time praying. We can always use God's help.
Someone must have poisoned those poor villagers' well, or the spring. All the signs point to poisoned water. I'm afraid it's the plague, lad. But with the help of God, we may stop it yet. What was it I wanted? Nicodemus, Nicodemus, you've done it again. Was it 15 drops or 20? Oh, my memory isn't what it used to be. I think. Good Lord, what a reek! Now, what else goes in there? I don't much like the look of that scum. Well, now, this decoction has a nice colour. Better not spill any.
She was locked up by the papal inquisitor Bishop Yaroslav of Benešov. But watch your step. This matter is entirely in the hands of church law, so you mustn't overestimate your lay authority here. Well, you can try talking to Bishop Yaroslav. He can tell you more. As a servant of the royal hetman, your name ought to carry some weight with him. I don't know, Henry. It all depends on the Inquisitor and how he decides. May God go with you. And thank you, Henry. I'm glad you're standing up for Johanka. If you need anything, do come and see me. Such testimonies could carry a lot of weight. You should try and get as many as you can. I'd be glad to do it. Johanka deserves my help. I have never seen her do anything that would contradict the behaviour of a good Christian. Like them, Johanka here only humbly spreads the message of Our Lady. She does not present herself as an intermediary of divine mercy. Please do not condemn Johanka, Bishop Yaroslav. In my judgment, her visions are genuine and her words sincere. She never discussed questions of faith with me. She was always focused only on her work, which she carried out impeccably. Monseigneur, I must stand behind Johanka. The girl is a treasure. And did you manage to convince her? The Inquisitor found her guilty of heresy and sentenced her to have her tongue cut out. It was too much for her. She died soon after. Johanka stuck obstinately to the truth as she saw it. She even attacked the church in court. Henry, I want to thank you for that generous donation to the infirmary. I'm glad you and Pavel didn't forget us. I've never heard of him before, but the prior has. He said he's very well learned and the Bishop of Sarepta. Well, yes, Henry, I do. The things she says and the way she speaks. Frankly, I can't think of any other explanation. Within the bounds of this world, she doesn't sound like herself at all. I know she can't read, so where else could she have got it? The Inquisitor showed up here not long after you left. Then he warned the people there that Johanka was spreading heresy and undermining the church's authority, and forbade them to listen to her. He's staying here in the monastery grounds. His quarters are on the upper floor. He had her brought to him and spent a long time trying to discourage her from what she was doing. Now it's just a titular bishopric. And Yaroslav is the titular bishop. Sarepta, but I doubt he's ever been there. It used to be a bishopric in the days of the Apostolic Fathers in Phoenicia, near Israel, but it was ransacked by the Muslims. It's, let's say, an honorary title. It refers to a diocese that no longer exists. But then she went out again to preach about her visions outside of town. But before she even started, the Inquisitor turned up with Fabian and the guards. He said Johanka had ignored his outright ban, and he had her taken away. It is. I'm afraid it could be very serious indeed. You're the one who deserves thanks, Henry. I feared the worst, and for all my prayers, I never even dared hope for such an outcome. Yes, I think they were. Even if she didn't interpret the message quite correctly, we were certainly witness to something extraordinary.